Good morning, good afternoon, everyone. Thanks for joining us today. We are just going to give this a few more minutes just to allow for everyone to log into the webinar, and then we'll go ahead and get things started. Okay, I see some folks are logging in, so we're just going to give it another minute. Thank you. Okay, we're going to go ahead and kick things off. Thank you so much for joining us today. We're going to spend some time to learn how you can earn additional cash by simply filing with the Workforce or the Work Opportunity Tax Credit Program. Joining me today, I have Nick Waltz. He is with HireCredit. He is an HCM consultant. I also have Corey Koopmans. He is the CEO and co-founder of HireCredit, and Matt Rogers, who's the president and co-founder of HireCredit. HireCredit is a Workforce Go partner. They have developed a system that helps you qualify and file for these credits easily and very easily and quickly. So before I go ahead and turn things over to the folks over at HireCredit, I just wanted to share a little bit about Workforce Go. Here at Workforce Go, we work with companies every day to help them manage their people, payroll, and time. We believe that great businesses are powered by great people, and to be a great business, you need to create and manage an engaged workforce, and we do that by providing you with purpose-built solutions for your industry as well as your employees. We also provide several webinars similar to this webinar here. Here is a few of our upcoming webinars. You can register for any of these webinars by going out to our website at myworkforcego.com. So tomorrow we will have a webinar focusing on the trends and different things that are going on within the HR industry when it comes to our workforce and the various generations that we have working today. On June 13th, we have another webinar scheduled to go over our Analytically tool, which is a dashboard metric reporting tool. And then on June 20th, we will be learning a little bit more about retention and how to attract and keep top talent. So with that, I am going to go ahead and turn things over to the folks over at HireCredit. Nick, I'll turn things over to you.
Perfect. Thanks so much. We'll get things going here. To start us off, Corey Koopmans HireCredit's CEO is going to just say a few words. He's got a few things to walk through, so I'll turn it over to Corey.
Thank you very much. Hi, my name is Corey Koopman, CEO of HireCredit. Really appreciate everybody's time here today. Just want to kind of wet your whistle, if you will, for what we have in store with HireCredit. So for those of you that are not familiar with the Work Opportunity Tax Credit Program, it was designed to create incentive for disadvantaged or underadvantaged groups of employment. Just to name a few, folks like veterans with disabilities, ex-felons, the long-term unemployed, or even folks that are participating in a SNAP or a TANF program. These credit amounts range for between $2,500 and $9,600 per qualified employee, which is a substantial amount, and certainly for those that are not currently taking advantage of this program. In our case study and in our findings, in part why we decided to create HireCredit, we found that employers can utilize the tax credit earnings or savings, however you want to look at it, for a multitude of different reasons. And it really starts by making sure that on the front end of all of your new applicant processes, you're trying to qualify or screen as many applicants as possible to determine who is eligible for a tax credit. In this use case here, this was a 500 employee multi-state oil change franchise who had never taken advantage of work opportunity tax credits before, was really excited to do so. And in just the first year, after hiring 250 new employees, 20% of those actually qualified for a tax credit. And in just the first year alone, we found that business owner $125,000 of tax credits. Now, what a business owner decides to do with the credits is completely up to them, but just a couple of examples. For the Jiffy Lube owner, he actually reutilized the funds to be able to hire 3 new employees at some of his newer locations. You could just as soon buy 4 new vehicles or put the money in the bank for a rainy day.
So Corey talked just a little bit about what WOTC is and how it works is going to be what we're going to go over now. And so traditionally, this process is very complicated. There's a number of parties that are involved, and there's a lot of steps. And the primary reason that people don't take advantage or don't know about this process is because there are so many steps and people that the process has to feed through. And so you see here just a few of the ways and the paths upon which information and data has to be transferred. There's applicants, there's the applicant tracking system, the employer, the payroll platform, the government, and you can see the data is transferring back and forth through all these constituents, and it's really just not easy. It's not friendly to facilitate. And so folks aren't taking advantage, they're not realizing these credits, and even if they are, they're not getting the maximum amount of credits. And so as great as that program sounds, oh, we can earn up to $9,600 for employees, the process has really limited the results of the WOTC program. So that's really where HireCredit comes in. And what we've done, and Matt will touch on this a little bit more here in just a second, but what we've done is architected a solution. So the big difference between HireCredit and a number of the other processors out there is we have a proprietary solution that facilitates this process in an automated and paper-free fashion from start to finish. And so a couple of the ways that HireCredit provides the service is first through our, again, proprietary and technologically friendly solution. We have the survey experience, which, like Corey mentioned, is that frontline piece that everyone has to do in order to qualify for those credits. But then, and we'll talk here about process in just a second, but part of the big reason that people don't do it is the back end. Like I mentioned, all the filing, the transfer of data, the processing, the evidence gathering, etc. All of those things are handled then by our case management solution. So we've created this software to be able to make the process simple. And then we add in the human element. And so a key part of our business is that we have a friendly face and a customer experience solutions guide, essentially, to work with every employer to make this unique and synced and customized to how they do their business, because we know that not every applicant experience is the same for every business, and sometimes not the same for certain groups within the same business. And so our goal is to give you that human element to make this process and facilitation as seamless and simple as possible. I'm going to go ahead and pop up all of these buckets here and just highlight it quickly, and then I'm going to turn it over to Matt, and he's going to walk you through our actual product that we built. We've got a few videos to show. And so keep this process in mind as we walk you through the videos and the additional information about HireCredit. So the way that the process works, we've mentioned this a couple of times, is the applicant survey is really the tip of the spear. And so it's critical that the applicant survey is inserted into however a business hires their folks. So whether that's a kiosk at their location, whether it's an applicant tracking solution, such as in Workforce Go, or if they just facilitate this via email, it's critical that these new hires are being exposed to this survey to pre-qualify the folks that can earn them a credit. Then, once the employee is hired, there's additional services done by HireCredit in that survey fashion that get signatures and collect documents and gather things from those applicants to then additionally pre-qualify them and help HireCredit do that back-end process. Then HireCredit comes in, we take care of all those tax filing forms, document generation, document gathering, the payroll and hours worked time collections, and all those compliance type of things to then allow those employers to earn the credits for those employees that they hire, thus resulting in the money. And then, like Corey said, you can use those credits for a variety of reasons in your business to help improve your bottom line. So I'm going to let Matt talk a little bit more about the process itself.
Hi, everyone. Thanks, Nick. So we saw a high-level overview of everything. Now I just want to give you a little bit of a taste of where the rubber meets the road. The applicant qualification survey, as we've alluded to several times, is the beginning of this experience. And we want to make sure that the experience is good for the applicant. So in addition to making this whole process painless for the employer and effortless for the employer, we also want to make sure that the applicant has a good experience. So one of the biggest issues we've seen in terms of companies being able to capture this credit is getting the information in the first place from your applicants and new hires. And that's partly because if you just drop the government forms in front of them, they're typical, IRS-style government forms that are pretty dense with lots of instructions and lots of conditions. If you put this in this box, you also have to fill out this other box, and that people just get lost, and that takes way too long. So we wanted to vastly scale back the complexity of that process, so we designed a really intuitive and dynamic survey that only shows applicants what they really need to know. And it's mobile friendly. We designed it to be mobile friendly first. So I'm just going to show you real quick here an actual run through of what it might be like for an applicant who's taking the survey. So as Nick mentioned, we can deliver this in a variety of different ways. Within an applicant tracking system process, they could have gotten here from a link in their email. Our customer experience team will work with you to align this with your processes. But the point is that they land here, they go through this process, and as you can see, it's very simple. The language on the front end and the branding can be customized to align with your company. They answer a handful of simple yes or no questions. And on the pre-hire side, that's essentially it. They're done. On once you hire an individual who has been pre-qualified for WOTC, there's a couple of additional questions, which is the part that we're seeing now about hire date and their job title and things like that. And we're essentially just capturing the critical information that has to wind up on the government forms, but doing it in a much friendlier way than actually asking them to fill out the forms. So one of the other pieces that we want to make sure we highlight is, because we're pre-qualifying these folks, when they're going through the application process, we can provide data on the new hires or the applicants as they're coming in. So we're able to give your hiring managers the information that they need to make better decisions about hiring folks who might be qualified for the WOTC program. For example, if all things being equal, if you know a certain individual has been pre-qualified for the WOTC disabled veteran category, you know that individual could earn up to $9,600 in tax credits, and then proactively make a hiring decision based on that information, which is actually the entire intent of the program in the first place, was to arm employers with that information before they make those hiring decisions, so that these sorts of disadvantaged individuals can be given additional consideration. Our back-end process then is very sophisticated and efficient. This is just a little bit of a peek behind the curtain. HireCredit facilitates this entire process, but we have custom case management software that allows us to ensure that every possible credit gets captured and no balls get dropped. What we see, part of what inspired us to create HireCredit was seeing how inefficient it was to try and do this before, and how many things got left behind, how many potential credits got left on the table because things weren't done by the right deadlines and the right paperwork wasn't filled out and all that. And what we've created, the solution we've created that our agents work on your behalf, makes sure that doesn't happen. Having handled the process efficiently, we can provide performance insights to the employer. This is another key difference in having technology that backs up this whole process. So we haven't talked a lot about it yet, but the compliance aspect of WOTC can be a big burden. So once you get someone through the initial survey and paperwork process, then you've got to track all their hours and dollars that they're paid so that the right credit can be calculated. And we have a seamless integration with Workforce Go, where we're on an ongoing basis able to collect and process all the data necessary for compliance and credit calculations. And because we're doing this on an ongoing basis and have a data warehouse where we maintain all of this information, we're able to provide interactive dashboards like you're seeing here, and also this data can be snapshotted into email reports and things like that, so that you know at any given time, how is this program performing for me? Classically, in the old school version of processing WOTC, with way too many emails and spreadsheets and late nights entering data with way too much coffee, you wouldn't know where you stand with the WOTC program until basically your taxes are filed. And so as someone with responsibility for making financial decisions about what we're going to do with how we're going to invest our money, the business's money, I would want to know what should I expect, right? Where am I with the WOTC credits this year, so that when I go to file my taxes, I know, hey, I'm expecting 135 grand off the tax liability. So I can make decisions now about what I'm going to do with that money.
Absolutely. Hopefully that gives you a good sense for what HireCredit does as the facilitator of the WOTC process. If you'd like to see a more in-depth demo or have a conversation about what HireCredit would look like for your business, we'd love to engage with you. We'd love to learn more from our customers. Maybe you're already doing WOTC. You can give us feedback on how we can make our process better. We'd love to hear that. If you're interested in becoming a customer, reach out. We'd love for you to reach out, become a customer, work with us through the sales process and also with our customer experience team. We're really passionate and strong about earning you credits where we know we can earn you more credits. And one thing that we do want to touch on here briefly in the webinar for those that are interested is just a little bit about how it works from the price or fee standpoint. And with a lot of traditional WOTC processors and vendors, there are upfront fees for signing up or for implementation. The first and most important thing is we have no fees up front. And then the second bit of information is that a lot of typical WOTC vendors are charging the customers based on found credits, and we charge on earned credits. So for some reason, if there's an employee that is pre-qualified that doesn't make it all the way through and actually earn that credit for the business, traditional vendors are charging the customer for those, whereas we only charge for those earned earned tax credits.
Right. So we've got skin in the game with you. We want to make sure that you earn the most credits possible. And it's really important to us that, that's why we've invested in those metrics and dashboards that we were showing you, and the applicant experience, because we want to make sure that the whole process actually works end to end. We don't just want to pre-qualify people and throw them over the fence. It's important to us that this is a zero burden experience for the employers as well as the applicants. And once we upfront establish with you where to integrate that survey into your processes, from the employer's perspective, from your perspective, is essentially then on cruise control. There's nothing else you have to do. Our agents handle processing the cases through our software. We automatically collect all the data necessary for compliance and credit calculation. We'll even pre-fill the tax forms at the end of the year. Mm-hmm. So it really is our main mission to make this as effortless as possible and make it feasible for everyone to take advantage of this great program.
Absolutely. That's all we have today. We'd love to work with everyone. So give us a call, reach out through Workforce Go to get in touch with us. We love engaging with customers no matter where you are on your WOTC journey. We'd love to work with you.
All right. Well, thank you so much, Nick, Corey, and Matt. That was a great presentation.
Any closing statements?
I was just going to ask if there are any questions. If you could type them into the chat window. Right now, we do have one question that was shared with us. I believe you may have already answered it. Is what are your fees? And it sounds like there are no upfront fees. Is that correct, Nick?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, great.
And just to complete that answer, the fees that we do charge are a percentage of the credits earned.
Yep.
And the exact percentage depends on billing frequency. So there's a range from around 18% to 23% of the credits earned, depending on a few factors that we can walk through when we connect.
Okay, great. All right, if there are any other questions, we'll give it another minute to allow folks to maybe key any additional questions into the chat window. And I think we're all set. So thank you again, everyone, for joining us this afternoon, and you all have a wonderful day. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.
Perfect. Thanks, everybody. Have a great day.